is Newsline 9 Sports.
Mike McCarthy is taking the mandatory out of mandatory minicamp. The Packers head coach has given all players in their 6th year or more the week off. Yeah, Mark, Melissa, I'm here outside University of Phoenix Stadium. Beautiful setting, beautiful weather here in Glendale, Arizona. But you could say the Packers are returning to their house of horrors. This offense has all 11 starters coming back. You don't see that too often. There's not too much of a learning curve with that being the case, but yet those guys played the entire first quarter. Kind of a rarity for the first preseason game. Are you surprised by that? And especially given the fact that it's, for the most part, the same offense, same head coach, same quarterback. How's it different for you now than what it was like back early in your career?
It's gotten progressively better.
Yeah, Emily, a report from the website Deadspin says Ryan was involved in an extramarital affair from 2009 until 2015, and he had been under investigation by UW as to whether or not he misused university funds as a part of that affair. High school basketball is back in Madison. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. Brandon Kinnard here alongside Platteville coach Mike Hoosier. And Mike, this tournament tips off with a couple of teams who had to break some long droughts to get back here to Madison. Assumption hasn't lost since they played Barneveld back in early February. Barneveld hasn't lost since playing Assumption last February. Something's got to give today, the Division V state title game.
This is Newsline 9 Sports.
Good morning, I'm Brandon Kinnard, and it is a good morning if you're a Wisconsin basketball fan. A shot for the ages in St. Louis last night as the Badgers heading to their 3rd consecutive Sweet 16. Wisconsin trailed by as many as 9 points in yesterday's second-round matchup with Xavier. We pick it up here with less than 20 seconds to play. The Badgers down 3. Bronson Koenig hits a 3 to tie it at 63. On the other end, Xavier has a chance to win it, but not if Zach Showalter has anything to say about it. He draws the charge, gets the Badgers the ball back. After a Wisconsin timeout, Koenig wants the ball, gets the ball, hits the shot. The fadeaway from the corner wins it for the Badgers. Bill Murray can't believe it. He's a big Xavier fan, apparently, but he's going home unhappy. Wisconsin advances in dramatic fashion.
I knew I wanted the ball.
Star Wars Day at Miller Park today, which was cool for 2 reasons, really. 1, it's Star Wars, and who doesn't love Star Wars? 2, it brought us epic puns like this one. Ryan Braun doubling his Braun Solo this afternoon. And how about Kirk New and Ice? Nah, today it's Kirk Chew and Ice today. Hats off to the Miller Park Stadium staff. That is some outstanding stuff right there. Unfortunately, though, in this galaxy, there's no Millennium Falcon for Braun Solo. Might have been able to catch that one. Mike McCarthy is taking the mandatory out of mandatory minicamp. The Packers head coach has given all players in their 6th year or more the week off. So as the Packers begin their final round of off-season practices, the focus will be on young players, particularly draft picks Kenny Clark and Dean Lowry, also Kyle Murphy. They missed all of OTAs. Packers have an extra preseason game this year, the Hall of Fame game on August 7th. And Mike McCarthy says the longer training camp played a big role in his decision to give the vets some rest.
Brandon?
Yeah, Emily, a report from the website Deadspin says Ryan was involved in an extramarital affair from 2009 until 2015, and he had been under investigation by UW as to whether or not he misused university funds as a part of that affair. In a report, UW Chancellor Rebecca Blank says the university has cleared Ryan of any wrongdoing. The report says UW began the investigation in February of 2015 after receiving an email from the woman involved in the affair. In that email, she referred to Ryan as, quote, unworthy of representing the university. Now, Ryan has released a statement. Hey, April, the Brewers' pitching performance kind of speaks for itself. 12 runs allowed today. However, at the plate, maybe not quite as bad as it looked. They went up against one of the top pitchers in all of baseball this afternoon, and Madison Bumgarner for the Giants. He was battling the flu before the game. Showed a little bit. He was rusty in the early innings, and the Brewers had some opportunities to break through. Never really could. Hey, guys, yeah, dating back to that now infamous Fail Mary game in 2012, and of course escalated by what happened last season in January. This has become quite a rivalry the last couple of years, but it's a one-sided rivalry with the Seahawks winning each of the last 3 matchups. All 3 of those, however, were in Seattle. Now tonight, for the first time since 2009, The Packers get a shot at the Seahawks on their home turf. 2010 team was a number 6 seed. This year's team, a number 5. But listen to the similarities in the playoff map. In 2010, the Packers had to go on the road to face the NFC East champion in the first round. They did that again this year. Then it was the Eagles. Last week, the Redskins. This is where it starts to get really weird. In the second round, they played the Atlanta Falcons, a team with a 13-3 record that plays in a dome, wears red, and has a bird for a mascot. Sounds a lot like tomorrow night's matchup against the Cardinals, doesn't it? And by the way, that game in 2010, also on a Saturday night. But that's really where the similarities end.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Welcome
Glad to be
back.
here.
Good to have you back.
Glad to be here.
Have a seat right here.
All this for me?
All this.
How are you?
And you know what? Speaking of that, I had you on last year, and I almost feel like you're a different guy this year now. An undrafted rookie last year, didn't see too much playing time, and now really developing into a key part of that defense. What's the secret?
Just making the most of my opportunities. I learned a lot last year just sitting behind Clay, Julius, Mike, and Nick. Those guys are great mentors and great leaders, so I try to go out there and be accountable when I get a chance to go out there and play with those guys.
And another sack in Sunday's game against the 49ers. Let's take a look at it. One of 6 sacks on the day. You're lining up on the outside. Take us through this play.
I kind of came off the ball. The tight end slowed me down, and LaTroy did a good job of getting up the field and setting the edge, and I just trusted my instinct to come inside.
And the dance, too. That was a nice little celebration afterwards, man. That's the first touchdown in a 24-10 Packers win, and we're going to walk through some of the bigger storylines here.
Okay.
I think we all know by now Aaron Rodgers threw an interception at Lambeau Field, which is a rarity. His first in almost 3 years, and it's almost a little strange. Since you've been here this year, he's been invincible, at least looked like it. 3 turnovers on Sunday, his first time doing that in 6 years. Is it a little weird almost for you to see him make those mistakes?
It's very weird. I mean, he hardly even does it in practice. But everybody's human, still got the win. I think we all still love him.
You have to. Now, since we've hit October, the offense maybe struggling a bit more than we're used to. Mike McCarthy said Sunday, Aaron is human. He's going to make those mistakes. We're silly to think that he won't, but Rodgers looked a bit upset with himself, disappointed after Sunday's game. He said that tape's going to be studied hard. Where do you feel you guys can improve as an offense right now?
That this offense has all 11 starters coming back. You don't see that too often. There's not too much of a learning curve with that being the case, but yet those guys played the entire first quarter. Kind of a rarity for the first preseason game. Are you surprised by that?
Well, after listening to what Aaron said the other night about getting those guys in a 2-minute huddle or getting in the no-huddle offense, well, then that's one way to get them in shape, is to go ahead and play that first quarter, move up and down the field, get the heart rate racing, get the idea of what it's like to have plays called in, and all of a sudden make the adjustments on the line of scrimmage. And so, yeah, I thought that was more important. Plus, with Tom Clements calling on the sideline, so I think that had to do something with getting plays called, especially in those situations.
We'll talk a little bit about Clements later on, but that offense did struggle a little bit, at least by its own standards. 3 points, 0 for 2 in the red zone, 0 for 2 inside the 10-yard line, as a matter of fact. Does that concern you at all, and what do they have to do as camp goes on here? 3 preseason games left.
Brandon, I know for a lot of fans out there, it's going to concern them after what happened in the Seattle game where they got down there so many times and able to come away with a touchdown. But no, this is preseason game number 1.
And success doing it, but that doesn't mean it ever gets any easier.
The Green Bay Packers select Demarius Randall.
Last year, the Packers' first-round pick turned into a playmaker almost instantly.
Interception by Demarius Randall.
Entering his 12th NFL draft with the Packers, Ted Thompson certainly has a few favorites in mind, but waiting to get them takes patience.
There are gut-wrenching times when you're so close to getting what you think is the perfect player for your team, and then that player might get picked right in front of you.
The Packers have the 27th overall pick tonight. Predicting how the draft will play out is nearly impossible, so this evening will largely be a waiting game for the green and gold.
It's much more difficult to come up with the actual 27 names and be sure that these are the guys that will have been taken, and this is the ones that will be left for you.
But predicting the top of the draft this year is easy.
can't not like Vince Beagle. You can't not love Vince Beagle. He's just one-of-a-kind type of guy.
Ask Vince Beagle what has led to his success this season, and he'll tell you it's his coaching staff.
Gotta give a lot of my credit to the coaching staff here, the weight training staff to help build me up and be the player I am today.
Ask his coaching staff, and they'll tell you it's his motor.
Vince leads with that passion. I think when Vince makes a play and gets fired up about it, I think that gives energy to our players, and I think that inspires them to make plays.
It's definitely contagious, and when one of us makes a play, we all feed off of that, and Beagle's made a lot of plays this year, and he's definitely a spark to this defense.
And perhaps nothing exemplifies Beagle's wild man attitude quite like his hairdo this season. Number 47 is bringing back the mullet.
I think it's coming in just right, man.
Behind the green and to the left are also marked.
Above average. Yes. By a few strokes at least.